even as the Indian government scrambled all its resources and sent 4 ministers to evacuate thousands of students from Ukraine. The crisis has put a spotlight on the condition of the medical education system in the country. In 2019, India had a doctor population ratio of 1 is to 1,456 against the WHO standards of 1 is to 1,000. Besides, they are distributed unevenly between urban and rural areas, with the urban to rural doctor density ratio being 3.8 is to 1. Driven by high fees and a shortage of seats, 20,000 to 25,000 Indian students reportedly go abroad to study medicine every year. Russia, Ukraine, China, Georgia, and Kyrgyzstan are among the most popular destinations. While medical seats in government colleges cost between 60,000 rupees and 2.5 lakh rupees for the entire program, it can cost anywhere up to 1.5 crore rupees in private colleges. About 15.44 lakh candidates had appeared for the national level medical entrance exam NEET last year. Of the 16.14 lakh who registered, of them 8.7 lakh candidates had qualified. But this does not mean all of them would get to do MBBS, since India had just 88,120 MBBS seats spread across some 590 medical colleges as of December 2021. Just over half of these seats are in government colleges where the fees are affordable. So, some of the 7 lakh aspirants who have been left out despite qualifying NEET look for options in foreign countries. In countries like China, Philippines, and Russia, medical education costs between 20 to 45 lakh rupees. The reason for the high fees is the amount that is required to build the infrastructure to set up a private medical college. Narayana Health Chairman Dr. Devi Shetty wrote in a column in 2019 that it costs about 450 crore rupees and 5 years to build a government medical college, and thereafter costs about 150 crore rupees for annual maintenance. So, what can be done to increase the number of medical seats in India? Mohandas Pai has some answers.
Well, my view is starting greenfield medical colleges is going to take time and is very difficult. You don't get faculty, you don't get a brand, you don't get recognition. Out of 600 medical colleges, 300 are private. At least 150, 175 are more than 10 years old. If the government were to tell them that in the next 3 years, they can double their capacity, we will easily get an additional 20, 25,000 seats. And this will be in good colleges where, you will have very good facilities, including clinical facilities. You will have hospitals, etc. The infrastructure will be there, the brand will be there, the teaching will be there. And this can immediately create capacity of 15, 20,000 seats for MBBS in the next 2 to 3 years. And I think that's what they should do. And also, please remember, starting new medical colleges is not easy. It takes 2 to 3 years. Then you have to get faculty, you have to be far away, you have to have a hospital, etc. It's a very, very expensive proposition. We have to reduce the cost of medical education. For that, brownfield expansion of private medical colleges being there for more than 10 years and government colleges being there for more than 10 years is the biggest thing. We got 90,000 medical seats today. If you add 20, 25,000, that will be very good. And in the next 5 years, if we take it up to 150,000 by both brownfield and greenfield, I think we would have done India a great service. We should also reduce the cost of medical education. For that, we must relook at the norms. For example, in the first 2 years, it is only basic sciences that are taught. The clinical work starts from the 3rd year onwards, where you go to the hospital and work with doctors, etc. So in the first 2 years, we should have a student-teacher ratio of something like 1:15, 1:20, because that is the way you can optimize and reduce the cost. Right now, the entire medical college education is over-designed, done in the 1980s, 1970s norm. Today, with technology and with simulation, you can do things much better and lower cost. So they must have reduce the over-engineering to reduce cost.
Every medical college approved for MBBS admissions should have 23 notified departments, attached teaching hospital, skills laboratory, museums, and hostels for students and interns. At the time of application, institutions with intakes of up to 150 MBBS students annually should have a fully functional hospital with 300 beds that has been operational for at least 2 years. Colleges with annual intake of up to 150 students must have an air-conditioned central library of at least 1,000 square meters, and 1% of the minimum books prescribed must be journals. These are just some of the mandated infrastructure requirements to start a medical college. In November 2020, the National Medical Commission removed the minimum land requirement of 20 acres for general areas and 10 acres for metro cities. So, what are the measures that will make it easier to set up medical colleges? Let us go to Pi again.
Cost of medical education has two components. One is the hospital, another is the medical college. The medical college design specs have to be reduced. There's too much of unnecessary expenditure in infrastructure that has to be reduced, and too much of built area. And the next thing to do is that government must allow district hospitals to be used for clinicals of medical colleges. That means India has 725 districts. There are many places where there are large district hospitals of 300, 500 beds. Why can't they be handed over to the medical colleges to be used for educating their students almost free of cost, so that the cost comes down on the ground, that they will man the hospital, they will run it, they will provide medical care, etc. And they'll also charge a small amount of fee. But with Ayushman Bharat, the insurance program being there, it becomes self-sufficient. So I think if government allows government hospitals to be used by medical colleges as teaching hospitals, it will also reduce the cost greatly.
Every year, lakhs of students leave the country in search of quality education, and their parents spend thousands of crores on their pursuit. So the crisis in Ukraine should serve as a wake-up call for the government, and it should also take a cue from the country which has made quality education affordable.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.